Okay, I had some time while working on reviews to check out the first wave of the Mario Kart 8 Booster Course Pass DLC, and I wanted to put this video together to get my honest thoughts out there. This video is going to be a teensy bit more serious than my usual banter because I'm secretly hoping this gets to Nintendo HQ and they can take these thoughts into consideration. I know it's very unlikely, but who knows. So let me start by saying that we have a pretty solid selection of tracks to start the DLC off with. I do like the inclusion of the tour tracks, as well as the different variety that was available to us. I also like how in the cup selection menu you pull one of the triggers to switch to the DLC, a la Super Circuit. However, I do have my gripes. First, these tracks look good. Anybody see the problem with that statement? No? Well, allow me to repeat myself. The tracks look good. Listen, Mario Kart 8 had the most gorgeous tracks in the entire series. Even the retro courses looked amazing. And I'm sorry, but good is not amazing. If the base game's retro tracks were the Retro Tink 5X, then the new DLC would be a generic $10 upscaler. These tracks, graphically, are a far cry from the ones on the main game. Now, from a business standpoint, I can understand why the corners needed to be cut, no pun intended. This game is the best-selling one on the Switch, so it makes sense that Nintendo went down the path of, good enough. But here's the problem. If you're going to give us retro tracks that were completely rebuilt from the ground up, and give each track a gorgeous, modernized look, this is the quality we are going to expect from this game from here on out. And the fact of the matter is, the DLC does not hold a candle to the main tracks. 3DS Toad Circuit is a prime example. Make no mistake though, these tracks still look good, but they could and should look better. There's no doubt they were just ported from Tour and given a few slight finishing touches. Let's briefly go track by track and talk about each of the 8 courses that we can race on right now. I actually don't have that much to complain about with this track. I like it. The hang gliding part where you go up to and eventually drive underneath the Eiffel Tower, the shortcut right at the beginning of the level, and racing the last lap backwards. This is a really nice track. It's nice to see it in a traditional Mario Kart game, 3 laps and all. I honestly don't have much else to say about it. It's pretty good, and it looks nice. It's a decent start for the DLC. The next track though, oh boy. Nintendo has simply no excuses here. This track is from the 3DS installment, and in that game, the track looks leagues better. How is this even possible? I mean, just look at it. It's disgusting. Nothing is textured at all. Fan makes look better than this. This is what we're paying $25 for? Really, Nintendo? This is the worst looking track out of all the 8 tracks we have on hand so far. I honestly don't want to spend too much time talking about it because, to be frank, there's really nothing else to comment on. It's a basic track with basic color palettes now for some reason. Seriously, check out the original 3DS version, then look at the new render. This is flat out laziness down to a T. I'm done here. Next track, please. Ah, now this is better. Choco Mountain was never really a favorite of mine from the N64 game, but I still liked it. And yeah, it looks really cool here. I like how the beginning of the track has a nice view of the horizon, accompanied by paratroopas cheering you on as you race toward the cave. The cave part looks pretty dope, not even gonna lie. I do like how the bridge is broken, so you have to hang glide over to the other side, and there's the giant boulders that fall down the cliffside every so often. There's a guardrail that prevents you from falling off and having to go all the way back around, thank God. And of course, the last 3 jumps right before the finish line. It's a really solid track, and I'm happy to see it appear in a Mario Kart game as high definition as this one. Overall, it looks good. I really don't have much else to say. We got Coconut Mauled in 4K. Okay, forced memes aside, it actually doesn't look that bad. The colors are very vibrant in this track, and the overall layout is one-to-one with the original. I do have 2 minor complaints though, and they're pretty common. 1, the giant arrows on the escalators. They removed that realism they had in the original game. Hell, even the 3DS incarnation balanced that really well. 2, the cars in the parking lot are stationary now, as opposed to moving back and forth. I'm not disappointed about the Shy Guys replacing Mii's. I'm disappointed that they just sit there, making them unironically harder to maneuver around. Stop laughing, it's hard, okay? I'll be the first, not literally, but I wanted to say that to sound cool, to say that this track is neat. It's pretty cool how they managed to combine the 3 different versions of this track into 3 separate paths that you take on each lap. As someone who has a soft spot for level progression in racing games, I can confidently say that this track and Paris Promenade are my 2 favorites thus far, and I thoroughly enjoyed my time with them. I said we were going to be briefly talking about these tracks, did I not? No joke, this is the track I have wanted in a new Mario Kart for a long time, and now that it's finally here, it looks beautiful. I especially love how it's a lot more chaotic than the original. I also like the guardrails on the last batch of turns that help prevent you from falling off, and there's a propeller you can trick over if you use a mushroom. However, this track on 200cc is a nightmare. That's a minor gripe though, as that is to be expected. Other than that, solid track, happy to see it finally make another appearance outside of Mario Kart DS. Let's get the obvious complaint out of the way. Yes, this track has little resemblance to the original Super Circuit track. Does that make it automatically bad? No. It's still a very enjoyable track, albeit simpler than the original. It looks really good, too. It seems it was simplified so it could be included in the first wave. If you think about it, Wave 2 will most likely be slightly more difficult tracks, similar to the Flower and Banana Cups. Anyway, Sky Garden as a whole is still a very fun track, but it's a very short-lived experience, unfortunately. Still, vibrant, pleasant, and above all, accessible. Yeah, the layout was botched, but I'm not deep enough into Mario Kart to really care. I'm more of a CTR guy myself. How come this isn't labeled as a tour track? Strange. Well, putting that aside, I love this track. The aesthetic, the layout, the Ninja Shy Guys, the multiple paths, the huge shortcut you can take on 200cc. No doubt Nintendo put this one last for a reason. It's a great track to cap off the first wave of the DLC, and just like Tokyo Blur and Paris Promenade, it's nice to finally see it in an actual Mario Kart game, with proper controls and 3 laps to boot. It's no wonder it became a favorite amongst the Mario Kart community. It's a great track. Enough said. And that's the first wave of Mario Kart 8 DLC, or as I'm now calling it, Mario Kart 8.5. I gotta say, this was a pretty solid start to the pass, and I look forward to the second wave. Obviously, these tracks aren't gonna look anywhere near as nice as the base game's tracks, but they still look really nice. Like I said, they look good, but they can look better. I'm looking at you, Toad Circuit. Overall, I had a blast going through these tracks, with my favorite probably being Ninja Hideaway. This makes me excited for more tour tracks like New York Minute or Vancouver Velocity. And of course, the remixes for each track were phenomenal. No corners being cut there. I would like to see their love for the music translate to the overall product that we get to experience, because the base retro tracks look amazing, and I want to see the DLC look just as good or better. Also, I would like to see them include tracks that could benefit from underwater or anti-gravity. N64 Wario Stadium, GCN Wario Coliseum, and GBA Sunset Wilds are just a few tracks that immediately come to mind. I would also like to see 3DS Rainbow Road, Wii Maple Treeway, DS Waluigi Pinball, and SNES Koopa Beach 1, to name a few more. Hopefully, these issues can be addressed and eradicated by the time the second wave comes around. I just want everyone to mutually love this game. One last thing. Please, for the love of God, remove coins as an item. It's so frustrating when a red shell is behind me and all I have is a coin. Get rid of this stupid item. Also, the boost should not be allowed to take an item you are holding behind you. It should also not be allowed to appear as often as it does. And can we please put the brakes on the lightning item? Alright folks, that's all I've got for this video. If you enjoyed it, hit that like button to leave a like and share the video around with your friends. Thank you for watching, and until next time, my name is Junior Nitro, fueling your adrenaline, one video at a time. Are they gone now? Okay, good. There's one left.
Fuck off.